G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, it's the Week 3 previews. Righto, Monday night football preview for Week 3. It is, of course, Lions at Ravens. The Lions have had a couple of dismal weeks, I guess you could say. Coming off some pretty lackluster games. But then they came into last week, even though it wasn't the greatest game, they did destroy the Bears. And we don't know whether it's because the Bears suck still or because the Lions actually figured out how to get it together after a week 1 loss to the Packers. But they did destroy the Bears 52-21, 14 points every single quarter they put on. Massive bounce back win. But again, what are they? Who are the Lions? Because we saw that against a quality opposition like the Packers in week 1, they absolutely just shit the bed. And then the Bears, who have been just not turning up for large portions of game at the moment, which is obviously really frustrating Ben Johnson, because you can see that on the sideline. They were sort of a bit lackluster. The Ravens took a bit of a weird loss in week 1. Bounced back with a 41-17 win over the Browns last week. Lamar Jackson threw 4 touchdown passes, 225 yards in a pretty resounding victory for the Ravens. 21 of those points, though, were piled on in the fourth quarter alone, when I think the Browns basically given up all hope. Brad, how do we see Monday Night Football going for the Ravens and the Lions, Brad?
It's going to be a great game. I'm excited for this game for lots of reasons. I feel like Lamar has 8 completions over 20 plus yards already. Detroit has allowed 7 of those plays already. And they blitz a lot. And Lamar eats blitzes alive. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. So it's everything's still pointing towards Baltimore on this. But I'm still just not sure. Maybe I'm still got leftover faith from last season, but Van Noy for Baltimore, he's expected to miss, I think, this game.
Sure is.
Humphrey, their cornerback, he's I don't know what his status is. He left the game last week. So if you're missing some rushing and a cornerback, that could really have a significant impact. And the Rams looked like the Rams of old last week. Or sorry, the Lions looked like the Lions of old last week. So if Goff can find a rhythm and just feed it to Amon-Ra, then without Humphreys in that secondary and missing Van Noy's pressure, and if he can have a clean pocket, then he could pick them apart in this game. So it's a bit of a toss-up for me. Either way. But Baltimore has to kind of rediscover its run game. I don't know what happened to Derrick Henry last week, but they looked unstoppable week 1. But then last week, Henry had 11 rushes for 23 yards. So, it'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to probably last possession.
Yeah, I think last week, in terms of Derrick Henry and the woes sort of running the ball there, I think that's more so that the only good thing about Cleveland this year is actually how good their sort of front four are. So them stopping the run and getting to the pass is probably their only sort of asset. But look, it'd probably be a lot different this week, I would imagine. I don't think Detroit's sort of run defense is as good as Cleveland's, but more so on top of that, I think it's going to be very much an offensive game. In saying that, the last time they met like 2 years ago, I think the Ravens won by like 4 scores, 5 scores or something. Like, it was insane, and it was in Baltimore as well. We know how much Lamar loves playing against NFC teams.
Yes.
I think Like the only loss he's had in the last sort of 4 or 5 years against an NFC team was actually the Eagles last year, who, went on to win the Super Bowl. In terms of the Ravens, though, the only thing I would say, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I am picking the Ravens to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but again, we're really worried about their passing secondary. You mentioned the injuries, but
Hmm.
they are just giving up so much. And a lot of that was obviously the first week with Josh Allen and the Bills and everything like that. But I think they're one of, coming out again this season as one of the worst pass defensive teams in the league. And obviously, if the Ravens pass rush isn't as great. So what that means is obviously if Goff is going to have that time, he's going to be able to, pick out their defense, which hasn't been that great, and is actually going to be distributing the ball quite well, as you probably saw last week. I don't take much out of that sort of Chicago game. If anything, they hung 52 points. They did that how many times last year? Probably about 10 times. So a lot of us probably didn't think, even the loss of Ben Johnson, were they really going to drop off that much offensively? But in terms of this game, I would be very surprised if the Ravens did lose this one. I think offensively they're still very strong. They played a divisional opponent last week who knows them very well, who can actually stop Derrick Henry. One of the few teams to be able to do so. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think it's going to be. They're still going to put points on the board, even in saying that Derrick Henry had 20 yards. They still hung 41 points. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I think the Ravens are going to get this one done quite comfortably. Maybe not 4 or 5 scores like last time, but maybe I don't know,
Yeah.
about 10 or so points.
Line sitting at 52.5. It's moved up a point from when I did the doc earlier this week. Ravens -5.5. I can't. That's a big handicap at the moment. 5.5 start is pretty large, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like it better if it was at 6.
Brad, we keep talking about this. It's got to be half points, Brad.
Yeah,
That's
you're
how the
right.
books win, mate.
It's all right.
I don't know. I kind of like the Lions for that.
With that spread, that's a pretty significant spread.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
52.5 is huge. Weirdly, both
I don't know.
quarterbacks who are known for passing touchdowns, both of their under/over touchdowns are set at 1.5. I've been looking at everywhere for some value bets, and essentially, what I'm coming up with is some anytime touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, $4.90 anytime TD. And I think with the way that this game could go, we could see a little bit of D-Hop red zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, for anytime touchdown. Well, let me give you my multi. This is the only multi I've got this week. I'm taking Jared Goff on the over for his touchdown, so he needs 2 touchdowns. 1.5's the line. I'm doing an anytime touchdown with Amon-Ra, and then I'm taking Baltimore to win, and that's paying $4.50 right now.
Yeah, right.
So
They're all
my,
good. I mean,
yeah.
Amon-Ra for an anytime TD is still at $2.18. He got 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is still pretty good value.
And with a weakened Baltimore secondary, I think they could take advantage of that.
Nick, anything at all on this one?
The one I did actually like was feeding into the concerns about the secondary for Baltimore is actually Jared Goff's passing yards is at 267.5, so over that. He did that last week quite comfortably, and I don't know the way I see the game with. I think Baltimore probably getting out early. I think the Lions are probably going to be playing a bit of catch up, so that's going to feed into them probably passing the ball, and that's probably going to be their game plan anyway because they'll see that deficiency. and they'll probably look to attack it. So, yeah, 267.5. He almost actually got that against Green Bay. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they go through with doing that.
Yep. Cool. Sorry.
You're all right.
I like both of those. They're really good. All right. Monday night football preview. Done and dusted. Just a quick one. We've had 4 games we wanted to watch. We've had some news. And now it's just over to playing the games and getting on with week 3 in the NFL. So hopefully you have a good Monday watching football in Australia, watching some teams play some good football. That's what I'm hoping for out of week 3. With the way these slates of games are, some good competitive games just to make some stuff interesting. Please make sure you check us out on all the socials. You'll find everything at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Go there. All our socials links are there. You can catch up with anything we have to do. There is a sneaky link there right now for
The
Brad's
Wizinator.
gap year. Not for the
sorry.
Wizinator.
Oh my god! So yeah,
So Brad's gap year. Go onto the link tree. There is a link there for Brad's gap year, which will take you to a survey doc where you can suggest a team that Brad should follow in 2025. And
is
help
this
us-
binding? Is this? Do the people rule? Do I?
No, you get to have the final choice, Brad. Okay, I'm
Okay.
going to give you that. But we're going to see what suggestions are out there. Now, if there is an overwhelming majority, then I don't know, Brad, it might be.
I have to take
sway,
that.
We might have to sway you somehow.
I have to take that into consideration.
So, mate, so you go to the link tree, you can chuck that stuff in there. We'll also chuck up some great sort of social posts that Maddie has made for us around Brad's gap year up on our socials, on the AGN one and on the Gday Gridiron one. So please check those out and comment there as well. Who should Brad follow along with in 2025? We are only saying it's a gap year. It's not forever, Brad.
Thank you. So,
we do expect you to come back to the Cowboys at some time and be the usual sort of Cowboys obnoxious fan that we've all known.
That's a prerequisite. Absolutely. I plan to fulfill that.
It is. So anyway, go there to the link tree. You'll find all the social links. You'll find all the stuff for every episode ever. You'll find the stuff for the Aussie NFL Fantasy guys. You'll find us on YouTube as well. If you're listening here on a podcast, check us out on YouTube. Just search for Aussie Gridiron Network or G'day Gridiron. Go there, check out those videos, and like and follow everything, please, because it helps us the whole way along. And until the week 3 reaction show next week, where we will have another guest. We've got a Seahawks fan on this week, Brad.
Excellent.
So,
excellent.
We'll talk to everybody then. See you later.